way of fishing. Today we're at Appomattox River Company, Richmond. We just got done with the meetup. I had a blast hanging out with everybody, talking fishing, sharing stories, lots of camera pictures of fish on phones. But we're gonna talk about something that I get asked all of the time. How to buy a kayak. What kayak should I buy? What's a good kayak for $700? Okay, I get messages and questions through Instagram and DM all of the time. So today we're kind of going to do a video and kind of give you some guidelines on where you should start if you're looking at buying a kayak. Okay, and I want to remind all of you that I do offer one-on-one coaching services to help with picking out a boat, learning how to use a boat, what boat to buy, picking out gear, and all that sort of thing. So if that's something you're interested in, just send me a DM and we'll work that out. But today, we're just gonna talk about getting a boat, okay? So we have lots of options out there when it comes time to buy a boat. You see all of these beautiful boats over here. Which one should you buy, okay? I can't tell you which one to buy. That's the answer to the question I get all of the time. What boat should I buy? I can't tell you which boat to buy, okay? If you watch my channel for any period of time, you know that I like Feel Free, I like Wilderness Systems, and I especially like Bonafide, okay? If you had to pick two, it'd be Bonafide and Feel Free for me, but you guys know that already if you watch the channel. If you're new here, I'm a Bonafide fanboy, and I run a Feel Free, and I review them constantly, and go subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe if it's your first time here. But what boat should you buy? I can't answer that for you. All right, what you need to do is you need to start first with what you're gonna do with the boat. Okay, let's just start there off the break. I'll tell you the story about when I first got my kayak. So I was looking at the Feel Free. It was a toss-up between the Lure and the Moken, okay? I walked into the store. My buddy Travis was here at the time. And so I was talking to him and Reggie, and I was telling him what I wanted to do. And I was really leaning towards the Feel Free Lure, okay? Wide, stable boat, good for standing up, casting, all that sort of thing. I said Chesapeake. I didn't even get Chesapeake Bay out. I said Chess, and Travis cut me off, and he said, you can't get a lure. And I looked at him, he said, you're gonna be paddling open water, you're gonna be dealing with waves, you're gonna have crosswinds. He said the lure will be fine, but it's gonna drive you nuts because it's so wide and flat, the wind is gonna push you all over the place. So he said to go with a boat that was longer and leaner, kind of thinner, it would cut waves and cut wind better. I didn't know that, okay? I just knew that I wanted one of these boats. So again, I can't tell you what boat to buy. Let's start with what you're gonna do with it first. Are you going to be paddling for fun? Are you gonna be fishing, okay? What type of water are you gonna be paddling? Are you gonna be paddling out in inshore saltwater? Are you gonna be paddling big lakes, small lakes, creeks, rivers, farm ponds? All of these things you can get away with a different boat, okay? So if you're gonna be paddling a farm pond, you could probably get away with a small 10-foot, like Pescador 100, right? And you'd be great. If you're gonna be paddling a lot of creeks, you're gonna be fine with a 10-foot kayak. Most people who kayak fish don't stay in the same body of water all the time. So you gotta think, yeah, I like fishing creeks. Are you ever gonna go to a lake? Because once you go to that lake, if you go watch Greg Blanchard videos or go back and watch some of my old videos, the wind can get up really quick, really fast. If you've got a shorter boat and the waves start pushing 3 foot, 3.5 foot, riding those waves is gonna get real squirrely real fast. And that 10-foot boat is all of a sudden not really the best boat to be in, okay? When I first started, I didn't ask anybody for anything. I had 400 bucks. I went and bought a $400 sit-in kayak. I quickly pushed that boat beyond its limits, and I almost had a really bad experience in the Chesapeake Bay. So I almost went under. The boat started taking waves over the bow. I couldn't turn the boat. I got stuck in the wave troughs. I didn't have enough boat to turn it to actually ride the waves. And so I was really in a bad way, and waves started to come over the boat and fill up this sit-in kayak that I was in, okay? Very bad situation, very, very bad situation. I realized at that moment I needed a different boat, but I started to ask questions. I started to go and read things and watch YouTube videos and talk to people who knew what it was I was trying to do, okay? So once you figure out where you're gonna paddle and what you're gonna use the boat for, now let's look at your budget. I get a lot of questions because everybody knows I love the SS-127. Let's see if I can show y'all that boat. It's right there. Yep, that's a Bonafide SS-127 over there. I love that boat. But I get a lot of questions from people saying, is that a boat really for somebody who's just starting out? No, it's not. Let's just call it what it is. That's not a boat for somebody who's just recreationally fishing, who's just starting kayak fishing, who has a budget. that's not the boat for you. That's a top of the line, competitive level, tournament fishing, kitted out, depth finders. You can do everything with that boat. Okay, you could do nothing with the boat and it'll be great. And you can do everything with the boat and it'll be great. But everybody doesn't have plus $1,000 to drop in a boat, $2,000 to drop in a boat. There's a Hobie sitting right here in front of me, the Pro Angler 12 with the 360 drive, and it's well over the price of a very used bass boat, okay? So what is your budget and what you're gonna do with it? Most people are gonna fall somewhere, shooting around $1,000 mark. That seems to be where the market is, right around that. Look used, all right? Once you figured out what boat, look used. It's a big market for boats on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Don't go with your budget as the deciding factor in what boat you're gonna get. Don't say, well, I want the $300 boat. That's the wrong approach. You need to approach it in what am I gonna do with the boat first? Because kayak fishing is an extreme sport, people, and you can get in trouble real quick, real fast if your gear is not built for what you're trying to do with it, okay? Even inshore fishing, if you go back and look, I'll link the video up here somewhere. I was inshore fishing somewhere where there shouldn't have been the waves that I had to deal with, but all of a sudden I had 3 to 4 foot white cap rollers coming at me, and I should have been safe. I should have been protected by the marsh grass, but the tide got high. The tide got really high. Wind coming in with an incoming tide is gonna push the tide even higher, which allowed some very big waves to come in on me. So I'll link the footage up here, but yeah, had I been in a lesser boat, I would have been in trouble again. But my boat handled it just fine. My biggest problem was I couldn't overpower the wind that was coming at me, but that was a setback or drawback from my vessel. That's just the fact that the wind was blowing over 20 miles an hour, and it's kind of hard to paddle harder than that wind, okay? But start with what you're gonna do with the boat. Decide where you're gonna paddle. Are you gonna fish? What kind of fishing do you do? How much gear you have to carry, okay? Again, if you need help with this, I do offer coaching and I can help you one-on-one if you don't have anybody, but I suggest that you go to your local store, okay? And hopefully you have a kayak retailer nearby. If you're in Virginia, I'm gonna tell you, go to Appomattox River Company, but talk to someone, okay, who knows what it is you're trying to do. Get to a point, you may be at a point where you can't buy the boat right now and you need to be okay with that. You may have $400 and that $400 is just not gonna get you into a vessel that's gonna be safe for what you're trying to do, and you have to be okay with that. Now's not the time to buy a kayak. Please don't shortchange yourself because of budget and put yourself in a situation where you could lose your life or limb or something bad happen. Don't do that. It's not worth it. Okay, it's really not worth it. Don't skimp just because you're not willing to wait. If you saved up $400, but the boat you want is $799, you got the $400 somehow, just give it some time, you'll get the other $399. But don't go out there and shortchange yourself and get in trouble. What do we cover? Figure out what you're gonna do with the boat. Where are you gonna paddle? How are you gonna paddle? How are you gonna fish? What type of gear do you need to bring with you? You gotta look at load limits on boats. You gotta bring food and water and tackle and rods plus you. So that's gonna determine the size of the boat you need also, because it's gotta have the weight capacity to do what you're asking to do. Then from there, let's figure out your budget. Once you figure out what you're gonna do with the boat, and then you figure out your budget, then you can go to the market and see what's out there that does what I needed to do and is in my budget. And then now you've narrowed down this sea of kayaks behind me. See all this? Now you've narrowed that down to like 4 boats. And then you can dive into those 4 boats and figure out which one has the color I want, because color matters. Which one has the features I want, what's the best bang for my buck once you have drilled down to that point, okay? Again, willing to help you. Message me in the comments below, send me a DM. I'm here to help. I want Way of Fishing to be a community where you can come for information, for hanging out, for camaraderie, for everything. But I don't want anybody who is subscribed to my channel to buy a kayak that's gonna risk your life. I have seen people risk their lives, and I have risked mine because I didn't know any better. And I want to at least be able to help a person, anybody, not risk their life, okay? I don't want to have sat here and like, if they had asked me, I could have helped them and then something happened to you. So please don't, okay? Ask the question, get the knowledge before you get into a kayak and get yourself in trouble. But I hope that helped. I get this question all of the time. What boat would you recommend I buy? We can walk through the process, but buying a kayak is like buying shoes. I love Adidas. Phil might hate Adidas. I don't know. He's sitting over here behind me at the desk. But, you know, Adidas aren't for everybody. So I'm going to tell you to go out there and buy some Stan Smith Adidas, but they may hurt your back. I can't tell you what to buy. Okay, it's just like buying shoes. You got to try them on. You got to see what fits you. But if you have questions beyond this video, drop your comment below. I'll try to answer it. You can get me on Instagram. You can get me on Facebook. You can get me on Twitter. I'll link all my stuff below. I hope this video helped answer the question, and I will see y'all in the next video. As always, thank you for watching My Way of Fishing, and get out there and fish your way.